Approaching the top of the hour, we're back on the SportsMax zone. The World Athletics U20 Championship concluded last Saturday in Cali, Colombia, with track and field, the world of track and field, still talking about the performances of some of the stars of the future, some of these youngsters and teenagers. The United States finished atop the medal table, just ahead of Jamaica. Jamaica's 16 medals, though, comprising 6 gold, 7 silver, and 3 bronze, the most in the country's history of the championship. The Bahamas were the next best Caribbean nation, finishing 18th with 2 medals, 1 gold and a bronze. Now, to review the performance of the Jamaican team is head coach David Riley. And David, welcome to the SportsMax Zone. Not the first time we've had you on this show, and usually very proud appearance by you, because you're usually talking about success. And to say success happened in Cali, Colombia is probably an understatement.
Well, I mean, it's an incredible performance, and indeed reflecting what we had projected. I mean, we thought we'd have 50 medals based on the quality of the athletes going in, but to outperform ourselves, I think that's great. Yeah,
I heard you on TVJ or Hits, one of those local media outlets, before traveling, and you were very measured in your pronouncements about your expectations and so on. But the clear fact is that what the young athletes did in Cali is an illustration of what's possible for the future.
Indeed, because the World Under-20 is a great platform for many of the future stars. And we've seen Alison Felix, Veronica Campbell-Brown, and many others come through. They started at that level and went on to do very well. So we expect that to continue. The success at the Under-20 usually is enough encouragement for an individual to continue. And barring injuries or any thing catastrophic, usually they go through, and the same people you're going to compete against when you become seniors.
And David, you know what? In the past decade, there's no question that the Jamaicans have added another dimension to their quality on the world stage, because the Jamaicans had been foremost with sprinting. Now we're seeing triple jumpers and long jumpers beating the world. How satisfied are you with that development?
Those are complementary events. I mean, you need the speed for the long jump and the same fast twitch muscles you find for people who do shot put and discus. We still haven't, done well in the endurance type events. Yes. And that's an area that we have to look and make some deliberate attempts to have a say there. But what we're seeing is a maturing of the track and field program in Jamaica, where athletes are being developed in the event where they have the skills and the abilities and the interest. And the coaches are there who are providing them with the excellent guidance that they need to become the best in the world.
The motivation among the athletes to continue putting in the graft to get success. I'm opening this line of inquiry because when you look at, when there are many promising youngsters who haven't transitioned to high quality seniors, and that various things happen, life happens, yeah? Mm-hmm. But do you get the sense that the success that these youngsters would have seen seniors enjoy over time, and when I say success, I'm talking about victories and what comes with the victories, the wealth, and they see. So in the context is, there was a time when a parent may say, well, track and field, but I wanted to study medicine, or I wanted to do law, or I wanted to focus on IT because the financial rewards are there and it is sustained. The fact of the example of so many Jamaicans and others who've made very good livings out of track and field, are wealthy out of that, and these youngsters have the benefit of seeing that. Do you think that there is perhaps even a greater desire from among this cohort and others just below them to put in the graft necessary so that they can have a chance to excel as seniors?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, track and field and sports in general is a viable vocation. And it does require specialized skills and developmental skills. And once the child shows that kind of promise, I think they should be encouraged to continue down that path to see where it will eventually take them. Not like you're going to pursue that from now till the end of eternity. Mm-hmm. But once you have skills in an area, whether you need to pursue it. And whether you're an individual or a nation, you'll never be your best until you pursue your area of giftedness.
Let's talk about some individuals now. I'll talk about the team first. The under 20 women 4x100 meters. We all know what happened at Carifta in April. We all know what happened with Jadko and everything else.
Some of it was your doing.
Innocent amount charges. the G word, David, to galvanize that squad to come and go again after a record. What did you and the other coaches say to them? Did you have to say anything to them?
I think those ladies moved on past it much earlier than maybe the rest of the country. Because they know what their quality is, and they know it's not a last chance situation. And so the focus would be to...
Has said she likes the look of this youngster. She looks to have the tools to be able, with normal development, to be something special as a senior. Do you share that view?
I do. Interestingly, among the females who do hurdles are faster over the flat in comparison to their peers than the males who do hurdles over the flat. So these females have a lot of speed. I mean, they're running 11.1s and 11.2s over the 100. And you take that in hurdles. But I think these ladies are special. Alexis James is very fast over the flat, and Karika is super fast. So we just wait to see what will happen when they continue.
Okay, the sprint double for the Jamaicans as well. Not surprising, Tina Clayton retaining her title. Brianna Liston, efficient over the 200 as well. And, you know, when you think that Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, although she's in her mid-30s, still appears as if she has a lot left in her.
Still faster than I
am. we have to feel from a Jamaican standpoint that the feeder program is well positioned to fill those slots.
Yeah, it is, and it's expected. I mean, the system that's in Jamaica is connected, and it is really a conveyor belt. And there is clearly a production line, and we have to make sure that the elements that determine the outcomes and the outputs are not by accident, that they're deliberate, that there are systems in place to help provide a guidance so that the product is what we want. And we can be very deliberate in terms of what the results are. And we have to make sure that that conversation continue so that we'll see the production. I mean, what we experience in Cali, especially from some of our rivals, so to speak, was a greater level of admiration because they can see the development, they can see the continuity, they can see that what's happening at the senior level is not a fluke, it's not an overnight situation, and they are appreciating it. And we might very well have to entertain a lot more persons coming to learn and to search, because that's probably the role that Jamaica will play in helping other territories put in place the right things to see this kind of production be continuous.
Jaden Hibbert, 17.27 in the triple jump.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I know conditions are different and so on, but he would have won the gold medal if he was in Birmingham at the Commonwealth Games among the seniors. How astonishing was that?
I used to do the triple jump.
Yes.
And in high school, my best was 15.36, I think.
15.3?
Yeah.
So you would
and I got a scholarship
you'd barely beat Shanika Ricketts.
that was when I was a good jumper. And to think that somebody who the standard has been raised so high by Hibbert, which, I mean, it's great to see that kind of performance, whether the person be 16 or 30. Those kind of performances are great. And this is one of the triple jump at the senior level is one of those records that hasn't been threatened in a long time. I mean, Jonathan Edwards is sitting there wondering who's going to break his record. And when you look at the crop right now, some very exciting youngsters are lurking. And
the James Beckford national mark is still untouched.
Still untouched.
For decades. I want to ask quickly, though, David, about the Caribbean's presence at these Under-20 World Championship, because in the past, Trinidad and Tobago has had, I think, 8 world champions under 20s, including an Ato Bolden sprint double in 1992. The Bahamians have produced maybe 5 or 6. So apart from the Bahamian sprint hurdler Antoine over the weekend, there wasn't much from the rest of the Caribbean, which is a little troubling as far as I'm concerned, because I'm a regionalist. I like to see the region doing well as a group. But the Jamaicans were pretty much on their own. What's going wrong with the other Caribbean countries?
We're still pandemic kind of zone, right?
Yes. And we've been hamstrung by the COVID-19.
Yes, Jamaica was very forward-moving with respect to what we did during the pandemic. We're deliberate. We made sure the sport continued. And part of what we're seeing now is the fact that there was no relaxation during the pandemic on the part of the program in Jamaica. Of course, we were very, deliberate in terms of making sure the structure was there. We made sure meets. I mean, we're the only territory that was actually having competition during the pandemic. I think part of it is many of the other countries are now seeing what they need to do after the reset, when there was no reset for Jamaica. So I think that is one of the things that would be affecting their performance. Many of them didn't have as many competitions during the year.
Yes.
When we were having weekly competitions, different countries have different regulations regarding COVID, and we seem to be at the forefront with.
And I guess that was evident even from the Carifta Games in mid-April, because the margin of victory for the Jamaicans against their Caribbean rivals was pretty wide.
Right.
I think wider than what the average margin is. But now that we talk about the other Caribbean performers, Antoine's sprint hurdle triumph was very satisfying for Bahamas. I know the favourite had some trouble over the last hurdle and was unfortunate, I have to say, to have lost.
Caribbean too.
Well, yeah, he is, but representing
Netherlands.
The Netherlands, yeah. Right. But how good was Antoine, and how good do you think he can be?
Yeah, I was surprised. I was surprised, but pleasantly surprised. I watched them in the warm-up era, and athletes feed off each other, and to be in such an environment where you're seeing all this quality and to come through and pull it off, I think he did an excellent job. And he definitely has what it takes to move on. Of course, the hurdle will raise 3 inches higher.
Yes.
So you need to make some adjustment in terms of how you're going to negotiate those hurdles. So we'll see what happens at the next height.
Yeah, David Riley, great to have you on the SportsMax Zone. Congratulations again on governing the Jamaica team at the World Under-20 Championship in Cali, Colombia. We are still going to talk about that championship when we have a special guest joining us after this. Thanks, man. Back with more on the Zone after this.